She is the godmother. Could I have some Masterpiece Theater? She is the godmother of alternative comedy. This is so called by the LA Times. Beth Lapidus is the creator and host of Los Angeles' legendary storytelling show Uncabaret for more than 25 years. Uncabaret has been the unhomophobic, unxenophobic, unmisogynistic, unhacky place for comedy luminaries to tell stories ripped from the headlines of their lives. She has a new audiobook entitled So You Need to Decide. Godmother, welcome, Beth Lapidus.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. I love how you read that. I like that you called me Godfather earlier.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize. Well, you know,
I loved it.
We're fluid here at the Stephanie Moore Show. Honey, we need comedy more than ever. I wake up hating everyone. It is, right? Going into year 3 of this pandemic. You've had to adjust, right? With the cabaret, you did Zoom for quite a while, right?
Yeah, you gotta pivot. Isn't pivoting? We just pivoted. Yeah, we now are hybrid and we have live shows and Zoom shows.
Right.
Scheduled on Friday and we just canceled it and we're going back to Zoom.
Yeah, I know. It's exhausting, right? I mean, by the way, can I just say, 2 years of lockdown.
Yeah.
I'm single. Some self-reflection is good, Beth Lapidus. However, too much time for self-reflection. This is why. This is why your book speaks to me, because the whole title, So You Need to Decide. I basically have nothing but time just to go over past decisions and past wrong decisions and whatever.
Yes.
But this is why this is fascinating. You talking to all your, celebrity and comedian and writer friends. So it's only an audiobook. It sounds fantastic, but I love how you explain it. How often do you think about the way each of those little and not so little decisions in your life reverberate through your life? How often do you regret a choice you made and wish you could simply choose again? Oh my God. Hello, my last 2 years. But I mean, tell us how this theme of the book came about, because I wonder if a lot of people are going through that kind of self-reflection during COVID.
I'm sure we are. We are in this giant shift, and on a cosmic level, why COVID is here is probably for a shift if you take the super long view. I actually just wanted to do an audiobook. I specifically wanted to do that because so much of my career, as your career, is about conversation, but I wanted to take a deeper dive, and innovation attracts me, and I was like, it's a new format, so I loved that about it. So I kind of made a decision about an audiobook first, and then I thought, well, what do I want to talk to people about? And at that point, the election was still sort of a year, and I thought, oh, this word decision just came like, you know how you get this thing of like a word just comes to you in like shining, pulsing, lights. And the word decision, and I just sort of said randomly, so you need to decide. It was one of those temp titles that just wouldn't go away. Yeah. So, and then I started to think what I would want to talk to people about, and all the big decisions, and work and family and love and spirituality and moving ended up being the chapters. There were a few other chapters that I thought would be good, and they weren't.
Interesting. Well, it basically is described as a funny, heartfelt meditation on the power of decisions, the place for regret, the space for grace. So there's space. I've gone through all of that in these 2 years. Regret. It hasn't. By the way, social media doesn't help, and several exes falling madly in love does not help.
God.
It's not helping various friends. I'm like, everyone's like, no one's finding love in COVID. No one's doing anything. And I'm like, how come everybody on my social media that's either a friend or an ex is during COVID? But you're right. So then you have the period of beating yourself up over past decisions, right? And then you have a period of, oh my God, I have to forgive myself or I'm just going to kill myself. I mean, it's just, there's depression. There's all of that stuff, isn't there?
Yeah. And forgiveness and, forgiving other people in order to forgive yourself, reflection, and then sometimes coming to peace with something and taking the long view and seeing how what seemed like a mistake actually led you to a place that you never would have imagined getting to. That can happen too. So, I was partly driven also by this sense that I hear you talking today just about various things, this decision exhaustion. We make like 35,000 decisions a day. And with the pandemic, the decisions, every decision about your safety, this basic vaccine decision, is weighing on people so hard. So
Yeah.
so it's very timely.
That's what I was saying. I think in this irregular time, I happened to stumble across a cable show where I was like, oh, thank God, they were saying how many people are struggling mentally and psychologically, and how many people need help. Because you do think it's just you. That's the great thing about your book and the work you do is, this is a series of intimate conversations that's described with a diverse group of comedians, writers, cultural icons. But no matter who you are, famous or not, a lot of people are doing the same struggling, it seems like. I mean, I find what I keep saying is without a real present or a future because of COVID lockdown for me, being single, of course, all I do is think of my past mistakes and why didn't I make this work and why didn't I make that work and this is why I'm single at this age. And you go through this thing that is self-destructive, right? I mean, it's...
Yeah. I mean, did you find a pattern? I mean, have you found something?
Yes, I'm an idiot. Yes. It turns out the pattern is me. Yes, being an idiot. But
well, that's not true. I mean, yes, there's love stuff in here. Baron Vaughn has a great thing about, living with somebody and the differences, and Bob Odenkirk. I mean, I know we're also living in a time where people are leaving their jobs. You fortunately have a job you love, but we're living in a time where people are in droves realizing that they don't want to work shitty jobs for the man.
Wow. You can't say that on the little family radio show, you saucy little minx.
People are leaving jobs, and Bob Odenkirk tells a story about leaving Saturday Night Live, which seems like, oh my gosh.
Right. Right.
Why would anybody do that? And it's really interesting to hear about that decision, why the risks people take, the changes people are going to make. Martin Luther King, I was like, oh, it's Martin Luther King Day. What did he have to say about decisions? And he has this great quote. I mean, just classic. I've decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. So there are these underlying decisions that we make that then roll into all these smaller decisions. But I think we live in a culture, you've made giant decisions in your life, but there's a lot that's happening in our culture where people seem to neglect this groundwork of basic decisions.
Well, and I think it's important you talk about the space for forgiveness and grace, because I also think I always take time to be grateful, to go, I had COVID, thank God I'm okay. Nobody, very close to me that I love has died of it. So, I have a job that I love. I have family and friends that I love, so even though I'm single, I will sometimes, in Schwarzenegger's voice, say, stop whining to myself. But it's true. Time for gratitude as well, even though we're in the middle of this pandemic, show.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to be grateful. I mean, so many people were able to, come to peace at home and do nesting. I mean, I'm grateful for that. I had time here at the house. And I mean, it's then other people, I think I'm grateful actually that I don't have kids at home. I mean, that seems like for parents who have children at home, I mean, my heart has gone out to those friends.
It's true. I think, oh my God, I'm so lonely. I just have a partner or kids. And then, you talk to friends that are like, I'm going to scoop my own eyes out with a melon baller if I have to homeschool for one more day. I hate these children. They're terrorists.
And especially women. I mean, this is some of our struggle that you and I have talked about over the years, for women, this has been just a much harder situation. The numbers on the struggle of women, the women who have been forced to leave the workplace, it's just awful.
Yeah. I just did MSNBC Saturday night, and I had to endure Twitter comments about my bangs, and I had to do my own hair and makeup and lighting. You understand, Beth Lapidus, and deal with technology on my own. You tried doing your own bangs.
I mean, when I set up for those Zoom shows, I am so cursing, the internet cords and connections. And I always think I'm split between DIY and DIVA,
You have a great story about how when you were starting this project, you had a fantastic conversation with Isaac Mizrahi. And you said, okay, we'll go ahead and send the file. And there's just silence. And you realize that nobody recorded it.
No, nobody recorded it. He's a diva. I'm a diva. Nobody pressed play. We just went to a different system after that.
No.
And he was gracious enough to do the whole thing again. We had one of those like deep dive hour and a half long
Oh God.
No. For us. But the second conversation ended up being better. So, space for grace, forgiveness. I mean, can we say on this day the word forgiveness enough?
Yeah. Oh my God, that reminds me of a story of my late night show, my disastrous late night show in 1995. We did a parody of 9.5 Weeks where, they were smearing all the food on each other and having sex in front of the refrigerator. I mean, seriously, but when you go, oh, this is the most hilarious thing I've ever done, and it was like massive amounts of food and production and whatever, and that was back in the day of actual tape. And they were like, oh, the runner lost the tape. Like, the tape's gone. The tape of that sketch is gone.
Oh, my God.
What? No.
When we did our Uncabaret special, we had the final, I mean, it's still video, actual video. And we gave it to the intern or PA or whatever.
Right.
And he got back at the office. His face was white. I realize now I shouldn't have just left it on the counter.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I mean, it didn't end in a disaster, but I'll never forget that moment.
So
bad decision.
Yes, bad decisions. You end this piece. You end by saying Lapidus invites us to join her and her friends in reflecting on how each decision changes us, altering our path and creating a wholly new journey. And I do try to stay positive like that. Like, I have all those stupid. Look at the thing, Chris. I have right there.
I know. You have accessories posters.
Just when the caterpillar thought it was over, it became a butterfly. Right? Sometimes on the way to a dream, you get lost and find a better. But that's kind of. I mean, all that stuff has that hokey stuff can be true. You get lost going to one dream and find another one that may be better.
Yes, and I can just in the caterpillar thing.
Right.
People always leave out the part where the caterpillar, in order to become a butterfly, dissolves into amino soup goo. Nothing. Between the time of being a caterpillar and a butterfly, there's this very awkward period that I think we are actually
That's what I'm in. That's what I'm in.
Yes, you're in the goo period.
I'm in the goo.
We are in
I'm primordial goo. That's what I am. Thank you, Beth. I knew you'd make me feel better somehow.
Sometimes you just make me feel better.
She is fabulous.
Yes.
The book is So You Need to Decide. I cannot wait to listen to it. And come on anytime. We love you and miss you.
I hope to come back soon. I do miss you desperately.
Okay. We ran into each other at a party. I got to see you in person during COVID, back when we thought it was over, and it was an outdoor party with masks, right?
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it again.
All right. Mwah. Goodbye, honey.
Thanks so much.
There she goes.
Thanks, Beth.
The godmother.
Yes.
Beth Lapidus.
Ask yourself 2 questions. Is my participation in democracy important only every couple of years? And why does the filibuster still exist? Well, the answers to both are up to you. Democracy is a continuous process, and if you don't voice your priorities, your voice will not be heard. The filibuster, its supporters say it exists to promote debate. It does not. It promotes massive gridlock. Ever since your school days, you were involved in elections where the majority vote prevailed. Why isn't that true of every vote that occurs? Why isn't that true in the U.S. Senate? There, the filibuster rules, and that's why nothing gets done. Let's tell our senators, we want you to discuss the issues, debate them, and then let the majority rule. Please visit letmajorityrule.org to learn more. That's letmajorityrule.org. LetMajorityRule.org is a project of the Marvin Lucas Super PAC, which is responsible for and paid for this ad and is not affiliated with or authorized by any political campaign or candidate or candidates committee.